Here we are, ready to game. How you doing today, Rain?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for bringing me along again. I've always aspired to be you when I grow up, so this is one step closer.
It's great to hear. Great to hear. Love to hear it. Yeah, so we got a great match today. We got a match between the Last Drop and My Chemical ASpence. This is the bottom ranked team by players and the top ranked team by players. So this is going to be either what we're not expecting or everything we're expecting, and ASpence and Hell's Angels team just absolutely run over people.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely going to be an interesting game to watch. I think that there's definitely some key highlights that we can kind of tap into. If you want to give a breakdown of, why don't you go over our team one Last Drop, and I'll cover, or team one would be My Chemical ASpence. Sorry, you can cover them, and I will after that go into a little bit of deep dive of what I can see from the Last Drop.
Absolutely. So let me just pull up the team here. Gotta get to the list of teams. So yeah, My Chemical ASpence, bit of a cracked roster. In the draft that we did, I don't know how Chemical and ASpence both fell to hells here. This is an absurd team
100%.
that basically has two S tier players, and that's not including Hells. So then you have Jolly or Aware, depending on who they have in for their fourth, but altogether, this team is absolutely cracked, absolutely absurd, and this team should win it all. I don't see them losing a single game. They might lose a round here or there, but I just do not see them losing anything tonight. What about you?
For sure. I mean, I think some of the underkey, like obviously everybody wants to focus on the big players. You look at ASpence, you look at Hells, you look at Chem. That's disgusting to deal with. But I think a lot of credit doesn't get given to some of the minor players on their team, like Jolly. Jolly was a player that didn't even get played last season at all in amateur league. But you watch the way he's stepping up in these pro games, especially if you watch some of the scrims that they've played in. You kind of see the way he's fit and formed into this team, and he's got three phenomenal coaches on top of him. He's definitely a stud. And then you got Mr. Thousand Ping Wonder, Aware Mosquito, who somehow manages to still get kills, still get swords off, still play defense, and still keep his IQ up, even with dealing with the ping and the packet loss that comes with that inner server or that international server ping. So.
Yeah. It is insane because you've got Aware on one side who's playing Infinite Ping God, and then you've got ASpence on the other side who talks about people who are just ping warriors, and it's wild to see both these people on the same team. So it's gonna be really interesting to see how this team gels. But I do agree that like you've got three cracked players, then you've got these other players that if they need coaching, they're gonna get it, and otherwise it's gonna be. I feel like this roster is gonna find space to gel pretty quickly. If there's any weaknesses, quote unquote, to exploit, it would be now that Jolly or Aware, or if they have Joe Pro come in, wherever you see that player, you would play to that player because basically that's going to be your weakest tank. The other ones are going to be pretty hard to take care of.
For sure. And I definitely think that, you can get away with some things on this team. I think that they get pretty comfortable in how much tanking power and just how much overwhelming court presence they have. And it leaves them open on the flank sometimes. Sometimes they get a little too cocky, they get a little too aggressive, they push into the spawn, and that leaves it free for a wrap. And, we look at the other side of the ball for this game. That's exactly what this team is known for. This team is known for launches. This team is known for, doing the cheeky pass one-off plays and going, because you got playmakers. You got Avenger, who's been playing out of his mind, honestly, lately. He's been playing like the rent is due.
Absolutely. Now we are hot dropping in. Actually, it looks like the game is
sweet.
starting here. So I've got it pulled up on the main cast, but you should be able to join if you find one of the players and get joined in here. There will be a bit of a delay on the actual game just because we are hot dropping in the way we're doing this with the stream tonight, but should be a fun one. Um, let's see here if I can get the UI pulled up. All right. Okay, so it looks like we've got, okay, looks like that we've got Avengers team. The last drop is on blue side, and on red side is going to be My Chemical ASpence, the play on the team members of Hell's team. Looks like that Avengers team is going to have it right now with Mystical Novice pulling the carry right now. Rage is going in for the flank and tries to go for the plate. Unfortunately, will get stopped by ASpence at the plate. Mungo looking for a way in. ASpence again denying him. Ball is having no purchase right now, looking in for that push. Okay, so
yeah, absolutely. I mean, you look at the court pressure that they got already. It's definitely big plays. You got one on the plate already. Clear space up on the left. That ball presence too. I'm pretty sure that if I see that correctly, that's Hell's running the ball. Hell's ability to keep the court pressure while still running the ball is absolutely insane. It's honestly crazy to watch that. You know, they basically tank and ball run at the same time. They're able to get in and out of those tight spaces, get in and out of the push like you see right there, keeping good space even with a full on-court pressure.
Absolutely. Just checking with you to make sure we're on the same cast time. I'm hitting 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 second, 1 minute, 2 seconds on the game time. Just want to make sure that we are at the same timer so that we're not desynced on that carry right now. Mungo just throwing out the ball to the left side. It looks like that's going to be going to Avenger, who's going to try to go for some space here. And it looks like his tanks are finally filling in. My Chemical ASpence team, though, is just having a real easy time of it, breaking through that line. Hells looks for the sword, doesn't get it, and looks like Mystical is going to fill in as the tank. Gets 3v1. This tanking line cannot get any time to set up here, and you have to think it's a matter of time before this ball gets turned over to red side, and then you get a score for My Chemical ASpence. But as I say that, the double sword by Novice just making quick work, Swiss cheese there on the left side. You really want to see a flank coming out here from Avengers team, because maybe that'll help them get to the plate. Rage is looking for that push. Maybe we'll get a play here. Hells gets taken down. Rage gets taken down. It's so close to them getting a successful play there. They one more second, they might have gone for that pass and get that first score on the board.
Absolutely. I mean, it's surprisingly even from both sides so far. I like the pressure that's being exerted by both sides. We definitely got a tanking lineup. We got some good defense plays that are coming out. We got the nasty swords, and that's one thing that you're going to see from the side of the last drop is that sword mechanic play, especially when you put Mystical Novice on the court, who hasn't played for a whole 2 seasons based on being out of server, but now that he's back, it's definitely looking like he's making his mark already on the court.
Absolutely. It looks like they swap out him being the carrier just based on the opportune play that they had there with the near turnover. Double kill from Avenger, almost gets that refrag for the third. That'd have been insane play by Avenger if he got that. Ball looking for a way to get this punch. Rage is looking for the main tanking line, looking for a flank there, potentially from Avenger. Avenger will get taken out. Ball gets the punch on ASpence. Mungo playing that front tank line. Rage coming in from the mid area, looking for Avenger to maybe try and get a far flank, but it looks like it's not going to happen. Almost tries to play. Oh, tries to play for it. Very aggressive play. You can feel the desperation a little bit already, only 3 minutes into the first match. And now let's see how quick this turns over as Hell's Angels team is just making short work. They've got space here. Actually, looks like they will pass it back, and we are going to get a pushback from the last drop. Last drop is showing some signs of life here. Holding some actual defense rather than just rolling over, which is what you'd love to see, even if they are the bottom seeded team right now.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's. I think this team is going to show people and showcase
the throw?
that even though they're ranked last,
my
they
God.
definitely have a lot of playmaking ability too.
Absolutely.
What timestamp are you at?
I just had round 1 finish, so I'm going to look at the actual main timestamp. Main timestamp is 404, 405, 406, 407. As the second round is kicking off here right now. I'm going to turn off the UI as we dive into this match. Avengers team actually getting the better of ASpence. Oh my God, that was an extremely aggressive throw there, despite the fact that the double tanks were coming in on the ball carrier. Ball carrier now is Hell's Angel getting 2v1 double sword. Worst thing to see as a ball carrier. Somehow Mungo doesn't get that sword kill, and you end up getting the ball back in ASpence's hands, but there's a turnover again. Looks like we're going to have actually a held line here from Avengers team, but the ball is not yet in clear possession. Mungo holding up the line. Mungo getting like a triple kill. Insane tanking from Mungo, as now Mystical Novice will take the ball carrying right into the mid area. You've got a sword here on the ball carrier, trying to play it out. Ends up passing out to midfield. Unfortunately, no teammates there. Aware is actually going to get that ball and pass it off to his ball carrier. Looks like it is going to be Hell's Angel being that main carrier. Chemical gets outdone there on the far side by Novice, and ASpence is going to fill into mid side. It is going to be a single sword looking for this play. Pulls a Betrayal against Aware, but it's going to be a push, still pushing out to left side here as ASpence gets absolutely sent to the moon on the right side. Aware filling in on the mid area, and you're looking for maybe a more traditional tanking line in front of the ball carrier with 2 guys, and then 1 to the flank as we get another kill on Novice here.
And that's one of the most diverse and dynamic things about this team that we're watching with My Chemical ASpence is you never know what kind of tanking line. They could go traditional, they could go all forward, they could go all in the air. There's so much diversity on this team, and the way they're able to do that aerial combat and finesse their spacing on the court is just immaculate.
Absolutely. As you say that, we're seeing this kind of weave pattern that they're able to put at midfield. They aren't getting too much more ground, but they are holding onto that space in midfield. Rage really pressuring with that sword. Goes for the sword. Doesn't get it because of the punch. Unfortunately, not a second sword available for the instant 1-2 punch there. As a more traditional tanking line kind of fills in. ASpence gets taken out on the flank. Chemical and Aware both dead. That is 3 dead for My Chemical ASpence. And just trying to not get sorted by Novice. We'll end up trading on that kill there. Chemical trying to assert the main tank role here right in front of Hells, as Hells is continuing to push in. One-man army. Ends up trying to pass out. That was a very greedy play, unfortunately, with no tanks in front of him. It looks like Rage is going to be the ball carrier for the moment, as Avenger fills in mid side and Mungo fills in to the left. Mystical is going to fill in as well. You got a 3-tank line here. There's actually quite a bit of pressure here. It's going to be real hard for them to clear this up. They're going to go for it, and that is going to be a score, 1-1. Now, last drop taking, or actually 1-1. Scoreline there is broken on the game, but it is 1-1. As last drop will strike back, moving into round 3 here. As we get to kickoff here, and it looks like it is going to be not a clean takeaway here from My Chemical ASpence, but they will end up finally cleaning it up there with the last 2 members in mid from last drop. As again, Hell's Angel is going to fill in as the ball carrier as he's moving towards left side here from a Hell's Angel's perspective. We got a sword and a hammer trying to find purchase on the ball carrier. Instead, you're going to end up having a more traditional tank line. Chemical is just a passed man, and they're going to make that pass already. It is 1 to beat, and you know Chemical is going to have that. That is a free 2-1 moving into round 4.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at the speed at which they move to, and that's what I was talking about earlier with those tanking lines. Whether they're going to stay traditional or go up and through, between the aerial diversity that Chemical and ASpence gives your team, you always have to be on the aware of that push, that last minute push through. Kind of sloppy tip off to kick off the second. It looks like My Chemical ASpence is going to take that again, go for the pass, but miss that, unfortunately, as they go for the cleanup.
Absolutely. It looked like a very ambitious play, and you have to feel maybe with that last round there, they're feeling themselves a little bit, feeling like they can play a little bit more aggressive, and as it seems with this takeaway, they kind of can. Oh, very greedy play at the plate, but it will get cleaned up. I'm not sure exactly who ran that in, but it will end up getting cleaned up by My Chemical ASpence, and that's going to be bringing us to, I believe, a 3-1 scoreline.
3-1. Yep, perfect. Again, you start to look at how comfortable they get with that aggression. That could really either make or break them. Right there, it kind of worked out for them. But I think that's one of the biggest takeaways from that. But again, another super aggressive pass. It's just those key moments where they keep going and they keep going and they keep pushing to try to get that last effort in. But sometimes when you play better teams, especially with the defense that last drop is able to put up right now, they're not really going for that last pass. They got the 1, they got the 2, but they're not going to give them a 3rd.
Absolutely, and that was nearly 4 dead for last drop. You could have potentially seen a super heavy push by My Chemical ASpence. Novice is actually through the main line here. It's 1 to beat for the ball carrier. Ball carrier throws it out on a 1v2 scenario. I'm actually surprised to see the throwaway there, considering he did have a tank right to his side.
Yeah, definitely interesting. I think that's one of those better safe than sorry mechanics, and it looks like it works out for them as they retain ball position. But again, between Hells and Chem on that left side, they're really closing in the plate. 4v2 situation. Runner tries to back up with the ball, gets sorted, but always gets that punch. And I think that's Avenger with the ball right now, which is oddly enough that that would be their runner in that situation, but I guess he's going to hold on to it for him.
I can't believe he's still alive. He's got to throw this out. He ends up throwing it to the far corner to Novice. You might actually have a reverse sides play here, but unfortunate betrayal on the ball carrier. But does it matter? Will they end up getting the kills anyways? Oh my God!
How was that triple piece kill, especially with the extra love dip potato chip at the end of that?
Absolutely, you love to see the balls find their way onto this court, and ASpence makes sure they're knowing it. Oh my god. So yeah, ball carrier back to, I believe, yeah, that's gonna be Hells again carrying, and we're right back where we were for the past couple rounds, where the Hells Angel just gets to have the ball, and eventually his tanks win. Ooh,
They got
very
one play
aggressive
breaking
play.
across that left side, but it looks like a clean turnover, but they still got pressure on that right side of plate. Let's see if they can pick up a kill. They got 2 going forward, 1 on the flank behind. Unknown, but able to pick up that kill and get some more momentum holding forward. Let's see if they can anchor down here and really make a push out of it to try to turn the tides of this, but they make quick work of them on the side of My Chemical ASpence, pushing them straight back to that corner and for another reset.
You can tell that they do not have the same confidence in holding space as My Chemical ASpence does, because you're seeing a lot of W King and you're seeing a lot of immediately backing up half the court when something doesn't work out. So they're really having a hard time finding space and holding onto that space. Avenger somehow lives that entire play. What happened there? That had to be a double betrayal into Avenger getting the 3rd kill. We go to a 2-3 scoreline out of nowhere.
This is what I mean, dude. Avenger has been playing like the Rents do. He made this team with a purpose. Everybody talk trash about this team, but he sees the key upsides, which is, you know, if I play my best, everybody else around me can play their best. Even though it might be a tricky situation as they push into a 4v2, that tanking power really showing itself. Still manage to keep possession and take massive space up right side of the court. Throwing the ball back for a quick reset might be difficult, though. Still with all this pressure on the court. Ball right on the pad.
Really
dangerous
risky
play. They got to get it out of there, but they dunk. Oh, save.
Oh my god, they don't turn that. Holy cow. What happened? Insane fumble by the last drop into fumble by Hell's Angels into recovery by the last drop. I don't even know what happened there, but is an insane clutch up by the last drop to keep that ball possession in their hands and to not put us to a 4-2 match point, or game point, I should say, as the ball is back in, it looks like Rage's hands for the moment. So it's going to be an intermediate kind of ball carrying style here until they can find a more permanent solution, unless they want to stick with Rage as their carrier.
I think right now the main goal right here is they got to keep this as less frantic as possible. We saw in that last push it was basically chaos on the open plate. They got to figure out how they can anchor down. Obviously go for the safe punches right here like they are right now, making good space. Tanks are kind of spread out, but they're still making quick work. A light 3v2 back to midcourt. They really just got to anchor down and figure out how can they somehow stave off this tanking pressure without losing massive space on the court. And I think that's going to be near impossible with this team. I mean, look at the way the tanks interflow,
Absolutely.
especially on defense, and that's another huge ball carrier stop.
Yeah, luckily Novice there to get the refrag on the ball attack. I gotta say, the last few attempts I've seen here by last drop that have been earnest pushes into the enemy zone have been kind of fluke plays where they get a guy that's passed and then he gets collapsed on, and then you just have nothing to do there because you don't have a more traditional tank line. You don't have two-sided pressure. It looks like there's going to be a quick flip sides here towards the right side of the field as ASpence gets taken down on that attempted sword. Avenger really needs to hold space. He ends up getting the trade, and you end up getting another kill here for the last drop as Novice does end up dying. They're really having a hard time here just holding space and keeping My Chemical ASpence where they are.
And you can see them kind of diversifying their tanking line. They keep trying to send one on the alternate route, whether it's Avenger, whether it's Mungo. They keep trying to send that pressure out, but again, without that solid tanking line, you're not going to be able to send somebody on the flank. You don't have the team tank to be able to work that 2v3, 2v4 situation, and it turns into a free turnover from My Chemical ASpence with full pressure up court. Hell's playing that aggressive runner that we like to see so often with a free score to get it. Just not much you can do in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, I switched over to Hell's Angels perspective as they threw the ball over to Hell's team, and Hell's had a full 5-6 seconds to run all the way back, pick up the ball, run all the way back, and he ran into no one. There was no pressure on the ball. There's just no time here for the last drop to actually find purchase in these last few rounds, apart from a fluke play that brought us to 2-3, and now with 2-4, and they're going for the launch. Is it gonna work? And it will. Hells will die, but they will put us on a 1-0 scoreline here of match score. Is going to be a 5-2 match in favor of My Chemical ASpence. That is going to be the end of our first round.
I mean, absolutely. And as we kind of take this into halftime, or what could be halftime, I mean, you look at the breakdown of both sides. It's just an overwhelming presence of My Chemical ASpence just being able to do whatever they want on the court, man. I mean, you look at the tanking pressure. You look at the three lineups they have. You look at even Aware Mosquito on the flank, on the follow up, on the refrag. All of this team synergy is just flowing. You can tell that not only have they scrimmed, but they're really starting to understand each other's tanking styles, the way they work, the way that Hells is able to float in between Chemical and ASpence rather comfortably, knowing, hey, I can have one of these tanks alone and still be able to take a 1v3, 1v4 situation.
Absolutely. Like we literally saw the scenarios where the last drop is put into a 1v1, 1v2, 1v3 scenario versus when My Chemical ASpence is put into a 1v1, 1v2, 1v3, and a lot of times we're seeing My Chemical ASpence come out on top in any of those scenarios, whereas on the last drop they get put in I mean, we saw it in a 2v1 scenario with a tank in front of him. He doesn't trust his tanking line, or he just panics because they end up throwing the ball out. They don't end up turning it over, but those are plays where you can see turnovers generated by good teams taking advantage of panicking teams.
To the advantage of last drop, though, I really think that this was a game that people really expected them to come in and get a quick 5-0, where it was just a roll fest. I really enjoy the amount of defensive pressure and the offensive pressure that, you know, the last drop is able to put out. Mungo is really kind of starting to show up. Avenger is really playing his ass off right now. And then you look around the court, you got Mystical Novice doing what Novice does best, and everybody is it. You got Rage getting the cheeky swords off. So like everybody is moving. I think they just need to build a little bit more synergy and not play as scared as they've been playing. But I mean, against a team like this, it's kind of hard to not be playing in that passive mindset, because anything you do could have cataclysmic results, as we've seen with multiple turnovers, multiple pinches, and multiple one-off stops.
Absolutely. So maybe this will be, maybe we'll end up going to a match 3, a game 3. Maybe the last drop will clutch up. That, you know, they had some rust in certain areas. I will say, as I was on a team that was scrimming them right before this, they were showing signs of weakness, but they were getting better throughout the scrim. So it is very possible that we're going to see a turnaround here where some of these more blunder-filled rounds and a little bit more happy gaming rounds of Chemical ASpence actually gets punished, and that last drop, rather than having just fluke scores that brings us to a 2-5 scoreline, we actually get some more emphatic scores that bring us to a much closer match score, or at least put us onto a game 3 within this best of 3.
I think we're also going to start to see here what kind of My Chemical ASpence we're going to see. I think that, you know, in the past when I've seen this team play, you know, once they get up to a pretty comfortable 1-0 lead, then they start to go out of their wheelhouse. You start to see more aerial plays. You start to see the more fluky, let's see what we can get away with, and that could open the door for you know, for last drop to really get their feet under them, and start to make that push, get their confidence up a little bit. So we'll see here if My Chemical ASpence comes out as strong, or if they're going to start to change up their tactics and basically use this as what can we get away with, and what can they work on a little bit. I think we're going to start to see some more launches from both sides of the court here, though.
Yeah, if that last round is anything to go by, they're feeling themselves a little bit. They're getting a little comfortable. They had a fluke play here or there, and I mean the second goal that happened by last drop, where somehow Avenger doesn't die, multiple betrayals happen, and they get that second score. Apart from that, you pretty much had a near clean match from from Hell's Angels team with ASpence and Chemical, and where I would be surprised to not see some happy gaming here, where they get a little loose, they have a little bit of fun, do some flair plays, try and show off for the crowd here. We'll have to wait and see as this second match is starting up. I think we're sticking to the same map. I know that between each round, teams can choose different maps. But it looks like there might actually be a little bit of a stoppage here, as Avengers team is taking an extra minute, maybe just doing a little bit more strategizing in comms, or figuring out a way to have a better lineup that gives them a better chance in getting us to a game 3.
Absolutely. I know that Big Al has been playing for them. I'm not sure if he's officially on the roster, but I think Big Al being in there and being able to ball run for this team would open up that a lot. I know Novice obviously likes to hold on to the ball, but Al is strong enough to be able to hold on to that ball and allow Novice and the rest of the gang to do what they do best and kind of create that tanking pressure, because I don't care how many seasons he's been off, Novice is, in my opinion, still one of the best tanks, one of the best swordsmen in the league. So you open that up, you pair it with Rage, you pair it with, an Avenger who's been using his hammer, using his staffs, using all of the wheels in his tool house. And I think that you start to see that original tanking line. You start to see something that's more formidable and stronger to go up against. So I think if they can pocket that a little bit more and they can trust a runner to kind of lean on, they can start to make shifts in this that will allow them to kind of open the door for more here.
So are you saying they should try and go for a mid best of 3 sub? Because basically they have Mungo in instead of Al. Al's not playing right now, so we would actually see a mid. We'd be seeing a mid best of 3 sub.
Honestly, I think more teams should activate that strategy. But yeah, I mean, if it's not working and you want to switch it up, obviously no shade to Mungo. Mungo's been playing his ass off too. I mean, we saw him with multiple anchor holds in that last rotation, getting triple kills, getting quad kills, getting hard feeds, all of those excellent things that they needed him to do. But does the tanking pressure keep the same when you have to play hot potato between Rage, between Novice, between Avenger, and you lose that tanking power on the offside? I feel like dedicated runner on this team might actually be able to open this door up for more.
Yeah.
So maybe they go for a mid court swap, or maybe they keep it the same and say, you know what, we were feeling it. We got to get our feet under us, and we got to keep pushing. So,
I do agree that whatever strategy they end up going for, I do think Avenger, Novice, and Rage not being your ball carrier is extremely important. So whoever their fourth is should likely be your kind of designated carrier. Obviously, there's offhanded plays, there's leverage plays where it works out to keep it on one person who isn't the designated ball carrier. But I do agree with you that it seems that Mungo or Al being kind of your ball carrier in the lineup that you've got makes more sense than Avenger, Novice, or Rage kind of being your ball carrier, because they seem to be making magic where necessary. I mean, Novice's sword is almost unmatched when you let him go off. When he gets his space, when he gets to go for it, he is a menace with that thing. So it is.
I mean, and then you see the way Rage is played too. Rage and Novice on the same court with the sword is disgusting. Rage seems to be able to fly across the map. He seems to be able to fly across tanks with their hammer out, and he's borderline unkillable sometimes. Just the way he's able to maneuver himself, fit himself in different spaces, and be able to slice apart the defense, but just by movement alone. So I think we really start to see that door open up, like we were talking about, if you start to shift this offense and this defense in a different direction.
Absolutely, and it looks like they may be starting here soon. I'm seeing stuff. I'm seeing ready checks from the players, so we may be hot dropping in here in a moment. Just for everyone to have the context, we're trying to stay out of the lobby for this match because there's some concerns with server location. You've got Aware, who, like we said, is a ping warrior of infinite ping. So we're trying to make sure that we have the most even playing field here, considering the ping differences between the players. So we're trying to stay out and instead watch remotely from their match so that the players have the best chance for having a good match here. So we should be starting up here. Yep, okay. I've got the chance to jump in, so I am jumping in here. I'll give you a lock on for time here as soon as we're in. But we are going into match 2. I've got my timer here at 40 seconds. I'm hot dropping into the first round here. 15 seconds into the round. The timer for me is 45, 46, 47, 48. And it looks like we already have a score from My Chemical ASpence, bringing us up to a 1-0 scoreline before I can even get ready in this match. That's how quick this team is jumping off the handle here. And to get the match going again here, 101, 102, 103, and it looks like that My Chemical ASpence might be, they're going to hold on to that possession as we're going into round 2 of this match. Trying to identify the ball carrier here. It looks like it is Hells. Hells is holding on to the ball here, I think, or is... Actually, it might be Aware? I'm not exactly sure here. Let's see. Stream keeps pausing on me, so we might be having some desync issues. Give me one moment.
I thought I was the only one here. I was about to say I'm paused up, so I cannot actually see any of the playment that's going
124,
on.
125, 126 is working for me, 127. It looks like Hells is actually tanking in for Aware? Yeah, so it looks like they've ended up giving Aware the ball for the moment, and he ends... Or not Aware, sorry, not... Hold on, I think I got my teams mixed up. 1 second
I'm
here.
at the 134 timestamp.
Okay.
137, 138, 140
I'm a little
now.
ahead of you. Let me see if I can drop back. 148, 149, 150, if you can get to match with me.
Yep, we're right on par.
Perfect. So ASpence has got the ball right now, and ASpence gets dunked. Rage trying to make some space here. Rage will take the ball as Novice gets tanked out. Rage again still holding on to the ball. It looks like you are correct. They subbed in Big Al. Mungo is out for this match as a double kill comes in by Aware. Aware with fantastic tanking. Unfortunately, won't get that sword kill on former ball carrier Rage. We're getting really forced into the corner here. Who's going to be their ball carrier? Are they handing that off to Rage again? No, Big Al will take the ball carrying opportunity. Passing it right on over, though, to, it looks like Novice is going to be their ball carrier for the moment. Interesting tactics here. We'll see if it ends up working out for them to bring us to a 1-1 scoreline, as it looks like ASpence is being the main tank in front of the ball carrier, but it's going to come in. Maybe this kind of alternate playstyle is working. Maybe it's the sub-in of Al. All I can say is we are at a 1-1 scoreline going into round 3 of game 2.
I do think it's interesting to sub in Al, but not use him as the primary runner. But I think, you know, maybe just having 2 people comfortable with the ball allows you to get that up-court pressure. We saw right there, even with having 2 ball runners, Avenger and Rage now know, hey, I'm not the runner. I can go up court and get space, and that allowed them to open that door for that score. So
absolutely,
who knows? Maybe diversifying that a little bit, but it looks like
we're just getting a score.
Quick work up the field and just slamming it, and that's one of the things that you lose. You know, when you sub in a Big Al for a Mungo, you're losing that tanking power, so you have to be aware of that. Big Al does not have the same hammer as Mungo. He does not have the same space-taking mentality. So you are going to lose that a little bit. So it's kind of a give-and-take scenario as we kick off this round, what, 3, 4?
Round 4. We're at a 2-1 scoreline. Aware is the only tank up here for, it looks like, I think this is Hells that's running. Yeah, Hells is running. So Hell's just running it, throwing it to Chemical. Chemical is a free man. Oh, that pass was not good. Where did Chemical go? He got sent to the moon with that swing, and it ends up bailing them out. Chemical fumbled that a little bit. The throw also a little bit off by Hells. That could have been a turnover. Luckily for Hells Angels team, they don't end up turning over the ball. Last drop, though, multiple swords.
It was more of a save from the standpoint of last drop. If you watch that last push back, they challenged that with 4 grouping swords that all ran directly into an ASpence hammer. So that is an extremely dangerous scenario that you don't want to play in, especially with this tanking lineup where everybody's running a sword and you're not watching your court spacing at all. That is basically a free give me for this team that you cannot let happen in any way, shape, or form.
Absolutely. And so far, the Avengers team here, the last drop has slotted into Big Al as their ball carrier. We might be seeing what we're expecting to be kind of the main tanking line for them, but double sword on the ball. Al, very clever, notices that second sword and ends up throwing it out. Unfortunately, Novice does lose the trade out on the side, and I hope that they're able to hold on here so they don't go up to a 3-1 scoreline, and it looks like that they'll at least force the throw out, which is going to delay the score. And ASpence has the ball here at mid-court, going to toss it back to, I'm assuming, Hells Angels to be his main tank or main ball carrier, as he takes up more tanking duties here in the midfield. That's going to exactly what happens. ASpence getting a double kill. Chemical just unrivaled double kill from ASpence, and we are going to go to a 3-1 scoreline. It seems like a foregone conclusion that this match is still going to go 2-0 My Chemical ASpence's way, but there is still a lot of game to play. Maybe Big Al will slot in finally, and we will start seeing some fight back from the last drop.
I mean, you look at it again, it's the frantic plays here, and it's something that we've been talking about the whole time.
Oh, it's a scramble.
It's the encore of taking pressure, but this is the silly playmaking that I was talking about. Another free push for them. Instead of going for the free goal, ASpence says, you know what? We're going to lob this up and see if we can alley-oop it to ourselves on the plate. Doesn't play out, but this is what I mean by, you know, once they get that comfortable lead, you start to see, oh, that's another giant hammer stop on the side of them, but could this be an easy dunk? Probably, but they're going to back out, take some free punches, farm them up a little bit, and continue with the push.
Absolutely, and I can tell, though, that Big Al is either needs a little bit of warming up, or he's just not paying attention as much to his spacing, because unfortunately, he noticed 2 or 3 of the tanks, he was kind of spacing, and then he just got Goomba stomped point blank by Aware, and it was a nearly extremely costly turnover. So luckily, ASpence's team playing a little, or Hells Angels team, My Chemical ASpence, having all those team names is really complicated. But ends up being a turnover here again. I'm trying to make my point about how they're going to play well, and it just like I said, happy gaming. Happy gaming is starting to happen, as we call it. Where you got, you know, you're having a little bit too much fun, and I know what ASpence is saying in comms right now. He's like, we're stomping these guys. It's fine. Don't worry about it. We'll kill them. Like they're having a lot of fun here. Hells is pushing in as the main tank. A lot of players for you to punch into there. A lot of trades happening right at the plate, and it ends up eliminating down to Avenger now as the ball carrier. I'm going to see if this, we'll have to see if this is going to be a temporary ball carrying or if it's going to be mainly Avenger being the ball carrier. Looks like they're slotting into this being the main ball carrier for this push at least, as Novice will take front point, and we're going to see if Al or Rage will fill in to take some space. Rage gets a passed man, almost gets that kill on Aware. Could have been a passed man to get the play. Double sword onto the ball carrier, toss out to Novice. Rage is going to take that front line, and Al will get traded. So we're going to see if maybe Novice has the ball carrier. One thing I can say is when you're having problems finding the right line and having the right tanking line and the right ball carrier is if you keep swapping, no one can get into a groove. And so I'm concerned that maybe we're going to fall into this where they keep cycling. And cycling can be good, but if you keep on cycling, you're going to have a hard time finding a groove here as we get a pass play out to Avenger. Al is holding space here on the plate. Unfortunately, does not find that spacing.
Yeah, we're definitely starting to see the silly aspect of things, but again, you start to break down in further detail this tanking line, and it's just scattered. Like you were saying, they're playing hot potato with the ball. They're not giving anybody the time to get that confidence up. Al hasn't had any warm-up, so he's going in kind of cold. It's one of those scenarios of you have to let something have time enough to settle before we keep pushing for more, but keep rotating the ball between Novice, between Al, between this, between that, and they're just playing hot potato back at their spawn from right to left, left to right, and they keep getting caved in these 3v1 situations with passive interferers coming in ready to intercept that ball. So we'll see if they can even make it off their side of the court. Hopefully they can. Avenger trying to make space up the left side of the court, but again, 3v1 situations, they have the spawn locked out. The pass comes out late, but there's still all of that pressure on right side of the court. They're gonna get caved in again, and it's gonna be an inevitable pass back.
Yeah, it's like we can't keep up with it with the cast, and I can't even imagine what it's like for the players who are just constantly cycling and constantly changing and constantly resetting the tank line and repositioning left, right, left, right, left, right. Eventually, you're gonna do a costly turnover. Was a betrayal on it, but it doesn't end up mattering because Hells ends up with the ball, and that means My Chemical ASpence is going to be on the pressure here as it is a 3-1 scoreline. Might be going to a 4-1. Actually, double swords here pushing onto the ball carrier. Where was his tank line? So it's not going to end up being a turnover, but it does completely neuter that push. Maybe Last Drop can take advantage of this where again, like we said, if ASpence's team gets a little cocky, there's Novice's sword. That's one thing that he is known for, is finding those plays, finding those ways to get in with the sword and get those costly turnovers that in his favor.
But this is what I mean with Hells, right? You see this situation where most carriers would back off. You're in a 3v1 situation, but Hells is standing there tanking punches, tanking tanks, keeping the ball under complete control, and also still managing to keep massive upcourt space. Obviously, it was a turnover. Didn't really work out. They got Chemical killed on the flank there. But, like, that's what I mean by this team is so dangerous. Regardless of where they are on the court, the pressure that they're able to keep up, hopefully, you know, Last Drop can make a situation here. They got Avenger running the ball yet again. I think that's just a situational thing based on who picked it up. But again, already getting caved into the corner. A quick one-tap stop, followed by another one. A quick throw out back to plate, landing right on plate. But yeah, it's a shifting game right now.
I mean, fantastic play from Novice there, getting the kill and immediately be able to get that throw off. That throw could have been extremely risky, but it ends up working out. Again, pass back over, but you end up losing the tanking line on that side. We're just seeing circuitous plays here where they wrap up the far wall and then they throw it diagonal back to the far corner and then they roll it back around. And we're just going back and forth, and eventually ball gets thrown a little past Health Pack, and that's going to be a turnover onto Hell's Angel. That is a far throw. They're putting a lot of faith in Chemical, and to be honest, it's well-deserved at this point. Doesn't end up paying out to anything, but I'm sure that it played havoc on the tanking line for the Last Drop.
But look at the space that they were able to take. They did that with full awareness that Chem wasn't going to score that, and if he did, great. But as soon as they threw that ball, all three on the left get their kill and move straight up court, know exactly where he's going to throw it back, and they just claim space for free. Easy. And it's another free dunk on this team.
That's going to be a 4-1 scoreline now in Game 2 of this match. A reminder, one more round here. We are on game point, match point. My Chemical ASpence coming in for round 6 of this game to try and put it at a 2-0 scoreline, and it is a clean take at the kickoff. Ends up forcing the betrayal, playing a little bit happy, and it will end up on a scoreline 5-1. It's gonna be a 5-2 and 5-1 2-0 match score for My Chemical ASpence over the last drop. Unfortunately, what we kind of expected to happen ends up happening tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it definitely highlights. First and foremost, I want to give a shout out to Last Drop for performing against
Absolutely.
obviously the undisputed #1 team in this league right now. Just based off of roster, obviously we're still only 2 weeks into the schedule. Things are open to change, but huge shout out to them for even rotating that and still managing to put up that performance. But I think it unlocks the cracks for a lot of different teams in these first 2 weeks to see what is it that we can work on, what is it that we're gonna do, what is it we're gonna work on this week in scrims. And I think in scrims this week, you got to hit it home that, hey, whether they go with Mungo or Al, you have to maintain that ball control so that way the rest, the other three, the Novice, the Avenger, the Rage, can figure out that tanking line and figure out how they're going to make it work and be able to gain space and gain confidence back.
Absolutely. And I do agree that, like, I think in a lot of cases now, in other games when it's a 5-man roster and people say the 6-man roster, in this case it would be a 5-man roster, where if you play with we are willing to swap out our fourth back and forth and make it harder for teams to actually prepare against you, that can work out. I do think that maybe Mungo and Mungo and Big Al maybe spending a lot more time not necessarily playing with each other, but playing with the other 3 main members of the roster and trying to find some better synergy with the team as ball carriers, because you could see that eventually when there's a bit of a panicked play state, you do want to try and set that tank line, get the ball back to your carrier, and be like, okay, mental reset, let's set this line, let's put our will onto the opposing roster. And obviously, I mean, hats off to Hell's Angel team. We don't need to say it too much. Obviously, these guys sticking right up to what we expected, playing to the level that we needed, and at the same time, they got to show us that, hey, if you're gonna come at the king, you best not miss, because we will style on you, we'll launch on you, we'll 360 on you, hell, we will 1v3 you, and it won't even matter because we will still win that game. So hopefully we get to see a little bit of a level up from the last drop, and we start seeing other teams trying to break the armor on titans like My Chemical ASpence.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. At this point, they're definitely looking for that team that's going to be a challenge, and I think we have some of those matches coming up, at the end of this week, early next week. So hopefully, as these rosters kind of shift and progress as we move our way through the season, as we always do, we start to see teams, break out and shine. People start to get their chemistry down. They start to get their footwork down. They start to get, the ins and out of how they're going to play and how they're going to maneuver against different teams, especially as more and more scrims take place. But overall, obviously, a pretty predicted outcome for this one.
Yeah, so I'm sure teams are gonna go back to the tape. ASpence and Chemical and Hells are probably gonna kick their feet up and say, "All right, we'll see them on the next one," and we will see if anyone can push them to actually spend a little bit more time reviewing tape rather than creating tape for other teams to review. Otherwise, that's gonna be it for tonight. That was the only match that we had on the slate tonight. Keep an eye out for posts from the Play Griffball channel. Keep an eye out for notifications from the Play Griffball Twitch channel. Please feel free to drop a follow here so that you keep in touch about exactly what's going on in AGLA Griffball. Feel free to join the Discord that's down under the video, and we would love to see you guys join next time here in the AGLA Spring Major. Have a good night.